The real question is this: are we living a full life? Are we making the right decisions when it comes to children, marriage, work, faith, and so many more issues we deal with daily? How can we know with confidence we are living a full life?
Welcome to the Full Life Crew podcast. We are your hosts and life coaches, Jareth and Deborah Navarre. We will help you find the confidence in those critical areas of your life. Our goal is to help you bring to your family the support, structure, and providence we all desire so we can live the life we want to live. A complete life, a joyful life, a full life.
We are so glad you're here. Now let's get started.
Hey, welcome to the Full Life Crew podcast. I'm Jareth.
And I'm Deborah.
And today's topic is when kids get sick, slow down.
It is inevitable. If you have a kid, they are going to get sick at some point in time. Sooner or later, they're going to get sick. And when they do, sometimes it can be very scary for especially new parents. Even for, how do you say what we are? Experienced parents.
Old parents.
Old parents.
Shouldn't be parents at this age.
Yes.
Should be grandparents.
Let's wait on the grandparent thing, but yes.
Well, how about this? We shouldn't have a 18-month-old or 20-month-old, whatever, or 20, whatever shit. We shouldn't have a 2-year-old.
But we do. So it can be scary when they get sick. As parents, we try and do everything we can to make them feel better. But it's important to remember that illnesses have to run their course. You can't force it to go faster and be quicker than whatever the illness is going to be.
Yeah. Hey, before we get too deep into this podcast, if you guys are enjoying this content, you like it, we also have a blog, and most of all these podcasts are attached to the blog, and we have on the blog, there's more information that you can see and read, maybe print out. If you're enjoying the podcast, and you can find it at fulllifecrew.com/blog.
So a lot of times when your kid gets sick, you do start to worry. Like, what is it? Is it just viral? Is it something worse? Do they need antibiotics? Are they getting enough liquids and fluids? So you just need to stay calm and slow down.
Now, who do you think worries the most, me or you?
You do.
I do?
I think you worry the most, yes.
Really?
I really do.
Well, give me an example.
An example.
Why would you say that?
I just feel you do, because me, I'm like, okay, they're sick, and like, I won't bring them to the doctor. I just wait, and then by the time it's like on day 3 or 4, I'm like, okay, I guess they need to go to the doctor now.
Well, I think
it goes back to my nursing years.
Well, that's right. You were a nurse, so you kind of know what to look for and to watch for. But most people listening aren't nurses. So I think most people are at a disadvantage. And the reason we brought this topic up is because we know a lot of parents. We know younger parents. We know older parents. But some parents tend to run to the doctor the moment the kid the kid could say, my head hurts. And boom, they're bringing the kid to the doctor. And I think with kids, there's a lot of things that kids get. I mean, think about like little kids. They're so close to the ground. Their hands are always on the dirt, in the ground, on the floor, and then they're sticking their hands in their mouths. I mean, they are like a cesspool of germs. Kids are. I mean, how many times? Okay, honestly, how many times over all the years with all the kids have you found a kid in a toilet?
Oh gosh, like forever. I'm washing hands.
Yeah, I mean,
not as they get older, but like little, because it's like, ooh, water, fun. Woo.
Yeah, and they're playing in a toilet. But, okay, so it's like we were all worried about COVID and all these other things, and COVID's a bad thing, yes, but I watch my kids play in a toilet every now and then. Like, they would literally like, hey, have you seen the baby? No? What's that noise? What's that splashing noise? And next thing you know, you run in the bathroom, and the kid's got elbow deep in the toilet splashing himself. And it's like...
And this is what I hear, Deborah, get in here!
It's disgusting.
Your kid's in the toilet!
It's disgusting. And then like, I don't know. I remember get it. Like, I remember being younger, and when the kids get sick, I get very nervous and panicked. And I guess this podcast is for those of you that are younger and do panic, or if you're older and you still panic. A lot of the things that kids get, and then have you noticed that the kids, when they get sick, it seems to be worse. Worse.
Well, yeah, because their little bodies haven't matured yet. They're not fully developed like an adult's body. So when they do get sick, it's, they get sicker. Yeah. But you got to remember that the body is a survival specialist. It's always trying to get back to normal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it just depends on your child. And in fact, each child of ours individually takes either longer or quicker to get better.
You know what the scariest thing was when the kids would get sick? It was especially with West.
He would get so sick.
But he had like me growing up, I have respiratory issues growing up. And playing sports, a lot of my respiratory issues went away. Now that I'm getting older and I don't move as much, my respiratory issues are coming back. But I passed that on to my children, and West and AJ in particular seem to be the ones that have received my respiratory issues. And Wes would get so sick, and he would quit eating for like several days. And I was afraid that kid was going to die. And then he's so skinny. He didn't weigh hardly anything. And he wouldn't eat. And he wasn't drinking.
He would just be there. He'd be like almost a gray color because he wouldn't eat. He wouldn't drink. And he'd be like, oh, I'm like, oh gosh, we got to get this kid to the doctor quick.
And we'd bring him to the doctor. And then all of a sudden the doctor would say, hey, it's viral, so it's got to run its course. And there was nothing we could do anyway. And then
all of a sudden,
poop, he'd pop up and he'd be ready to go again.
He'd miraculously get well, and then he would sit up and he'd start eating and drinking, and then he was back to normal. But yeah, he'd be pretty bad off.
I think if I could go back, or we could go back and tell our younger parents, you need to be cautious when kids get sick. But I think if we could go back and tell our younger selves something, we would probably say, hey, slow down, relax. It's going to be okay.
I still have, I still struggle with the whole slow down when the kids get sick.
Yeah.
Because I always have, I'm always in things need to get done. There's always things that need to be done to keep the house moving, to keep the business running. And we work from home, so our little guys are still at home with us. And it seems like when one of them gets sick, they want to be held. They want to be cuddled. They want to sit with you. And so that for me is the hardest thing, to stop whatever I'm doing for the day and just sit with them.
Totally 100% agree. And yeah, it's a challenge. I want to bring up another topic, but before we go too much further, we need to thank our sponsor. So we're going to take a quick second break and pause for our sponsor. Have you ever dreamed of owning your own business? Maybe you thought about franchises, but weren't quite sure which one's right for you? Well, let me tell you a little bit about Tiki. Tikis is a shaved ice cream, and coffee franchise that started in Boca Raton, Florida, and now has expanded into multiple locations across the U.S. So what makes Tikis so special? Well, Tikis offers unique products that people love. Shaved ice cream, and coffee. Not to mention their franchise model is low cost and easy to operate. Tikis also provides extensive training and support to all their franchisees. So if you're looking for an opportunity to be your own boss, then I urge you to consider Tikis Franchising. Contact them today at tikisfranchising.com to learn more about the franchise. Yes, Tikis is a wonderful franchise and a wonderful business. It's a fast-growing business. You need to look into it. Check them out. But like I was saying was, I think another thing that has helped us as parents is we never used formula, or we used it very little. Most of all our kids were breastfed. And tell me if I'm wrong, but is it true that all the things that you have experienced, as for all the illnesses you have, your body makes antibodies, correct?
Yeah.
And you, as the mother, can pass a lot of this stuff on to the child. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I'm not a medical doctor.
And, breastfeeding is the best way to go.
Yeah.
It does, when when little ones are sick, the breast milk totally helps them. Totally helps them get better. I mean, there are certain situations and circumstances where the mom can't breastfeed.
Yes.
And I mean, that's understandable. But if you're able to breastfeed, yes, breast milk is 100% the best way to go, especially on little ones when they're sick.
I remember we made a video on our YouTube channel, and we went to Fort JeanBaptiste. I think it was.
Oh gosh, I remember this one.
Is that in Nac? Is it Nac?
It's in Natchitoches. Yeah.
We went there for a track meet.
We did, and we had a few little minutes to spare before we had to be back at the track. And
I said, let's go check out this fort, because it's like it's free.
Mm-hmm.
You go in for free, and when you have a family of 10 people, you're always looking for something to do that's free.
Yeah, definitely. And
so we went to this park. We went to this
it's like almost like a
historic site.
Yeah, it was a museum, but then in the back area they had like it was a historic site where you could go walk through.
Yeah, it was really cool. It's right along the river there, and you could walk through and they have a replica, or it's not original, but they have a replica of what it looked like, back when it was founded. And then it's supposed to be like one of the oldest cities.
Yeah, Natchitoches, I think, is the oldest city in Louisiana.
Anyway, so it's a really cool little place.
Google that one again.
If you're ever up there, you want to see more about it, go to our YouTube channel. You can watch the video. It's Fort Jean or JeanBaptiste. And anyway, so here's the point. Was it which kid?
It was Jace.
It was Jace. So Jace was what, maybe?
He was little, like
under 2.
He was less than a year old, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, he was under 1.
Oh, he's under 1. Okay.
Yeah. Because I was still nursing.
Okay. I don't remember all the details. I just remember we were having this really great time. The guy in there was showing the other kids how to make fire with Flint. He was popping 2 rocks together, and the kids were like, "You can hit rocks together and make sparks. I can make fire." You could just see in their mind man, if I had gasoline and 2 rocks, so you could see their wheels turning. And I'm all into it. And this guy, the guy at the thing did a really good job. He was very, very, very helpful and thoughtful with the kids. And next thing I know, I hear, bleh, and it sounded like somebody took a giant glass of water and just from 6 feet in the air, just dumped it onto the ground. It made this giant splashing sound. And you were behind me, and I was focused on the rocks too. It's me
and Jace were looking at the display.
Yes.
They had a display with glass.
Yes. A really nice display. Really nice. It's like a model of the whole park, and it's covered in glass, and you can tell it's nice and clean. It's pretty. And I hear this noise, and I hear this splatter. And I think to myself, as a dad, I'm like, okay, I know the sound of that. It's a very distinct splattering sound.
And I think about the same time I went, "Oh, gross."
Yes, I think you did. So I flip around to look over there, and when I look over there, there is clabbered chunks of milk in a lot of water, and it's all over the display and the case.
And it's all over me.
It stinks. It smells it smells horrible. And poor little Jace was covered in it. It was a mess, and it was so embarrassing. It was so embarrassing.
But I do have to say, the people in there were like, "We got this. Don't worry about it." I mean, they helped us. But the fact was, we could have ran. We could have left and been like, "Okay, our kid's sick. We got to go home." But we didn't.
No.
We just were like, "Okay, is this a one-time thing? Is this going to keep on?" And I don't think he got sick again that day.
No, so I don't know if he just got choked up on something or he got car sick because he was in the car all day.
But yeah, that was definitely an adventure that day with the kid getting sick.
So just recently, remember when we took that trip to Houston? We went down to Kemah, and we went and visited the Waffle Company.
Yes.
We made a video and a blog about that one. You go check it out. And if you're ever over in Houston, you got to go check out this little Waffle Company. It's kind of off the beaten path. Or if you live in the Kemah, Houston area. So we went down to Kemah. And what we did was we just ran down for 2 days. On the way down there, when we got to Kemah, we stopped at a ChickfilA. Now, Ava takes her food, and what she does is we'll give her a nugget, a chicken nugget, and she'll chew on one nugget for 20 minutes.
And then spit it out.
And she'll chew on it and chew on it and chew on it. She doesn't swallow.
I don't think she likes the texture.
And then she spits it out. So she has like this horrible issue with swallowing food. So most of her nutrition she gets comes from milk, even almost at 2 years old. And she just gnaws on her food. So I'm thinking like maybe there's a new diet fad we could start. Don't swallow it, just chew it, Anyway, so we're sitting in Chick-fil-A and everybody's got their food and we take up 2 tables at Chick-fil-A. People are already looking at us because there's like 50 of us. And
I'm thinking, look at them crazy people.
Before, I'm gonna go off topic here. Remember that time we were at McDonald's and that lady asked me, "Are these all yours?"
See, I don't remember that. I must have been somewhere else.
We were going down to Florida for a trip, we were going to Disney.
Okay.
And we stopped at McDonald's to eat, and this lady's like, she's staring at me and all of us, and we're like taking up like 3 tables, and she just looks at us in disgust, and is like, "Are these all of yours?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then, no, then she asked, "With the same woman?" I'm like, "Yes."
Yep.
And she was just taken back. I don't know if she was shocked, appalled, or interested. I don't know.
Who knows?
But I just smiled and said yes and went on my way. But anyway, so we're sitting at Chick-fil-A in Kemah, Texas. Ava is sitting in. I remember asking, "Hey, you want me to get you a high chair?" Thank God we got a high chair.
Yes, thank goodness we got a high chair.
Because she would have thrown up on like 3 people because she was going to sit on your lap.
On the whole table and everybody's food.
So we're sitting there, and I go get a high chair. We sit Ava down, and we give her a nugget or a French fry.
She had French fries.
She had a French fry.
And she was already kind of fussy. Remember, she had been fussing kind of, but I figured she gets car sick.
Maybe, yeah.
But she threw up.
She threw up. She put that French fry in her mouth, and she had just downed like a whole bottle of chocolate milk. So, and she goes, "Bleh, bleh," and bleh, and you hear that distinctive splatter sound again, and it goes everywhere. And again, people are looking at us like, "Look at this group of 55 people."
And then Jace is sitting next to her, and he goes,
yeah. Right. Jace, he didn't get thrown up on, but all of a sudden, all you hear is, So we have to run Jace to the bathroom because he's fixing to throw up. Well, good news, he doesn't throw up. I don't know.
Oh, no, long story, she did end up being sick almost the whole trip.
Yeah, she was sick the whole trip.
But we didn't, I guess the thing is, we didn't cancel the trip just because she was sick. We kept moving. Because if you cancel everything every time they get a little under the weather or something, we have 8 kids. With 8 kids, you're going to be home all the time. So she was fine. It wasn't anything.
Yeah, she just ran a low fever.
And she was fine.
And we took care of her. Mm-hmm. I mean, we
held, and she had plenty of liquids and plenty of. I mean, she really didn't eat a lot, but she did drink her liquids and stuff. So she was good. And we all had a blast, and we kept moving.
We didn't catch the throw up on that video, but that is a cool video horrible. Because we took James to the Astros game.
Yeah.
And they got to see Yordan Alvarez hit that home run to win the game. Again, I just think that the message on this podcast is kids are resilient. Kids are tough. Kids are designed to bounce back quickly. And I think as parents, we get scared.
Yeah.
And we overreact. And I think we just need to slow down a little bit and have some patience because, getting sick is a natural thing.
It is. So if you're home and your kids get sick, or even if you're away, stop, sit down, hold them. I mean, I've taken towels and covered myself with towels because I knew eventually they were going to get sick again, especially when they're little and they don't understand to go to the bathroom when you're going to throw up. So, I mean...
Yeah, Wes would just lean off the edge of his bed and just throw up.
I know, it was so bad. But so, as a parent, you have to understand, when you're sick, you want to be loved. You want somebody to check on you. As a little kid, you want to be held. You want to be loved. You want to be cuddled. You don't want to be left alone. So as a parent, just remember, slow down. Cuddle up with them. If they're real sick, of course, yeah, you bring them to the doctor. But
yeah. I think probably 80% of our illnesses have not required a doctor. Like, very seldom do we give our kids medicine or medication.
Yeah.
I mean, other than maybe the occasional Motrin or Tylenol to help with controlling the fever.
Yeah.
But again, you're a nurse, so you know these things. But the average parent out there, the moment the kid gets... One more thing before we I think is important, is that scared me, was the high fevers.
High fevers do scare me. Like, that's one thing. If they do start running high fevers, and I give them Motrin or Tylenol, and it doesn't help it or break it or keep it down, then yes, that's when I do bring them to the doctor.
Yeah.
Because it could be something other than viral. It could be something that does require some medication to take care of. But still.
Just remember, we've had 8 kids, and we've been through many, many illnesses. We lived through a pandemic with kids. And kids are resilient. Kids are tough. The body is designed to survive. Wherever the body is, if it's not in a stasis of happiness, it's going to try to get back there with everything it has. The body wants to survive. Just relax and slow down a little bit, and don't let the emotions of your child getting sick get in the way with rational thoughts and, making poor decisions. So I think that's the most important thing. If you've enjoyed this podcast, and make sure you check out the one before this if you haven't, and it's called Letting Your Child Fail. That one's interesting. And then the next one you could check out is When Your Child Should Get a Phone.
Oof.
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 There's some, yeah, you definitely check that one out. That's going to be a good one.
We appreciate you listening. And while you're out there doing your absolute best, trying to live your best life, your full life, remember, life's a journey.
Enjoy the ride.
Did you enjoy the podcast? Would you like to sponsor a podcast? If you're looking to advertise your brand, product, or message, our platforms are the best place to do it. We reach a large and engaging audience, and we can help you get your message out there. If you want to learn more about how you can advertise with us, visit us at thefulllifecrew.com/shop. So thank you once again for listening and tuning into our podcast. And just remember, while you're out there trying to live your absolute best full life, life's a journey.